again with Empowered Women Podcast. And we have one of our favorite women here, Emilie Lewis, Senior Vice President of MJBiz. That's a big deal, guys. And brand leader, brand development.
Yeah.
Amazing, Emilie. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Well, the fact that I just got the title of one of your favorites makes my night. So thank you for having me, guys.
Well, I've definitely been watching your journey, and you got a lot to handle there. Not to mention 2 little boys, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Under 14, under 13.
They're not so little, I feel like, anymore. Yeah, I have an 11-year-old, 11 going on 21, and a 7-year-old, maybe going on 5. So I feel like they go both ways. I feel like my little one is just like a little baby still, and my 11-year-old's a total teenager. So yeah, I have my hands full.
You do. And then how many employees are you currently overseeing?
I mean, funny enough is I think that most people think that MJBiz is this massive team. We're not. We're actually pretty lean and mean, to be honest. So we have a little over 30 people on the team. We are obviously owned by a larger corporate company, Emerald. So Emerald is the largest North American B2B trade show organizer. But MJBiz acts as this little engine that could within Emerald. So even though Emerald is a large corporate company, MJBiz we make our own rules. We're cannabis.
That's right.
That's what
We're the wild, wild west.
Yeah, you guys figure it out.
Yeah.
You get stuff done and you're the queen at getting stuff done. How is it that you guys have been able to do that, in this industry?
Well, the one thing that I want to say, because this is an empowering women podcast, is MJBiz was started by 2 women.
Love that.
We have to give props to that, because this brand was started by 2 amazing women who had the foresight 14 years ago. I mean, 14 years in the cannabis industry is unheard of. I mean, they say that the cannabis industry is a little bit like dog years. I'm beginning to believe that, being in the industry for a few years now. So MJBiz was started 14 years ago by 2 amazing women. I think that they just saw a business need in this industry to connect businesses, to create revenue, to keep this industry going. Because at the end of the day, our industry is very nuanced. It's very layered. There's a lot that goes into our beautiful industry that is cannabis. But we all have to run a business. We have to keep a business running. We have to grow and scale a business. And we all want to be in business 5 years from now. So that's really what MJBiz is about. We're here to connect different businesses, to do business, to keep this industry growing and thriving.
That's amazing. And, with so many brands coming in, so many retailers coming in, and unfortunately, we see a lot of them leaving a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later.
Yeah.
You have, being lean and mean, then I'm sure you have a lot of FaceTime with these excited, brand new companies that are coming in and that want to come to MJBizCon. What kind of advice do you have for them? Is there a way you can, they can separate themselves from the booth next to them? What does that look like when you share your wealth of knowledge?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't been in cannabis my entire career. I have a career that spans 26 years deep, and I will say the same thing to cannabis that I say to every other business. We are a business just like everybody else. Show up, be professional, know your pitch. You need to know what your value is. And so you need to know what sets you apart from other businesses out there. So again, you're going to end up in the taxi with who knows, I've been in taxis with people where I've signed deals in the cab. You're going to end up in an elevator. You're going to end up at the bar. You're going to end up on a smoking patio. You don't know where you're going to end up. And so always be professional and be prepared. Know why your business is different and what your elevator pitch is. Be able to say it in 2 minutes or less, and show up with a bit of a competitive spirit. I feel like we've lost that a little bit in business. Times are hard and I get that, but you need a little bit of a competitive edge, and you need to have that friendly, one up for that company that's in your lane and they're doing great things, but you want to beat them. You want to do better.
That's right. I love that. So you talked to us about 26 years, right? Tell us about that journey. What brought you? How long have you been at MJBizCon?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So 26-year career. I fell into what I'm doing at every step of my career. I will be honest. It has been a ride. I was on my way to law school. My dad's a lawyer. My mom's a doctor. I grew up in a household. I grew up in Mississippi. I grew up in a one stoplight town in Mississippi. And for those of you who might not, you might not know this series, but Friday Night Lights,
yes,
was my life. Like I grew up honestly, like in a field, in a pickup truck, looking at the stars, dreaming about like LA.
Aww.
And so that was always my dream. And so
here we are.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing a podcast. You think that 26 years ago you would be here, being a pioneer in the key conference?
She's like, didn't you hear how competitive I am? Yes, I did.
You know what? I'm going to actually say something that's unpopular, and I think women need to own it a little bit more. Yeah, I did. I thought I would be here because I think women innately believe in themselves, but they don't want to admit it. I think we are fierce creatures.
I agree.
And when we support each other, we're even more fierce. That's why I love you guys doing this. But yeah, I think I knew I would end up here because I was not going to quit. Like no one was going to tell me no, I was not going to quit. I was that girl from Mississippi that was just like, yeah, I'm moving there and I'm not going to know anyone and I'm going to make a name for myself. And it's not about fame. It's not about any of that. It's making a difference. The one thing,
a pattern.
Yeah. And that's the one thing I will say is like me doing what I've done. And even if one girl could hear that from Mississippi or any other town and be like, I can do that too. That's what makes it worth it. But yeah, it's not always easy. I moved here when I was 20 years old. I lived with like 5 roommates to pay the rent. I had 3 jobs. We all did it. I worked my way up in the apparel industry. I don't like to say fashion because I think when sometimes you say fashion, people think it's very frivolous. But the fashion industry is a multi-trillion-dollar industry that is a business that we grow and we scale. And it's a very hard game to play. And so I want to give fashion the credit that's due, but I worked my way up in events and marketing. I worked for some of the greats. I worked for Nike for a couple of years. I worked for Coterie. If anybody's in trade shows, Coterie is the ultimate women's contemporary trade show. So I was in offices meeting with Zach Posen and Diane Van Furstenberg and, all the way back in the day, I'm going to age myself now, when J Brand and AG and all the jean companies were cool. It was way back in the day, but it's not always easy. And a lot of times you're the only woman in the room. And that just is what it is. But I think getting into cannabis, I will say after the few years that I've been in cannabis, there's something special about this industry. And there's something different about this industry. And there's something very different about the women in this industry. It is predominantly a male-dominated industry. But the women in this industry are some of the smartest. And the men. The men, you guys are great.
Yeah, the men are great as well.
We have to do it with them too. Like we have to. But the support and the community in cannabis and the women and how freaking amazing the women are and how driven they are in this industry, it's a game changer for me.
I agree. And you definitely deserve a seat at the table, Emilie. So thank you for sharing your story. Super, super inspiring. 2025 is here. I can't believe we're almost in Q2.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
What happened?
What exciting thing, personally, professionally, what are we going to see out of Emilie this year?
Oh, me. Well, there's going to be, I don't know, out of Emilie might be a different story because I'm hitting up the baseball fields every weekend with my 11-year-old.
I love it.
He just made a travel team.
Congratulations.
Yes. So that's a big deal. We were in Arizona last weekend. And so for personally, like, I love seeing him grow. I also love talking about cannabis to my kids, which I know a lot of people, I want them to know it's okay. Like, I grew up in a household where it was okay. And I love that they're like, yeah, my mom works in cannabis. And I'm like, you tell your 6th grade class that I work in cannabis and let's be proud of that. So that's something that's cool. But I mean, for MJ, look, like for us, it really, really is about, we've been on a mission for the past 2 years to really support the community and to bring back culture and community and growth to MJBiz. So cultivation is the heart of MJBiz. At the end of the day, like if we didn't have our growers and we didn't have the knowledge around the agriculture part of our business, we wouldn't be here. None of us would be here. We wouldn't have the flour. We wouldn't have any of it. So I think you're going to see an emphasis on cultivation. I also think that you're going to see some new initiatives. We had a really fun initiative last year called The Hub, and we had our state takeovers. We have to double that this year. So we have to actually have 2 hubs, and we've got to figure out another name because we can't call it Hub 1 and Hub 2, but we're going to have 2 this year because we couldn't create all the state takeovers that we wanted to have. So we're going to have 2 of those this year, so that'll be fun. And then we have a really exciting partnership with Nuwu in the works. So if you don't know in the industry, you should know. Nuwu is a fantastic dispensary. It is an event space, and it is a consumption lounge that's on tribal land right off outside of the strip. And so we have an exclusive deal that we're working with them every day of MJ to have some fun consumption events there.
I love that. And I love that dispensary.
Yes, they're fantastic to work with too. Just amazing humans. So that's what we look for at the end of the day. We just want to do business with good people.
Thank you so much, Emilie.
And I'm a testament of your ability to bring in that culture in such an effective way. Like I saw it this last MJBizCon. You really tapped on the brands, and I really enjoyed that because yes, it starts with producers. Yes, it starts with cultivators, but it's that brand with the vision to bring that all together. And the fact that you guys were able to, capture it was really meaningful. And, being a woman in the forefront of that, that's amazing in this industry.
You were a force at MJBiz last year. Like this one put in work at MJBiz last year to bring the manufacturing and distribution pavilion to life. So again, it's always women behind it. Always.
It's women believing women, right?
Women believing women.
The ability women have to nurture each other and to love.
Yeah.
Like helping the greater good.
100%.
So great work that you've done for MJ.
It's a big team. It's not just me. There's an entire team that works tirelessly to make it happen. I'm just one tiny little piece of it. So.
And I think this interview is a true testament of why we've created the Empowerment Women podcast. So thank you so much, Emilie, for being our guest. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.